It is so great seeing my next guest back in action. He's going to be competing at Bellator 280 May 6th. It's Pedro Carvalho back here on the program. Pedro, how are you, sir?
How's it going, James? Once again, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, and yeah, good times. Every time there's a fight, it's good times.
Yeah, every time there's a fight, it means we have an interview, which is great to hear. It looked like you got a full camp for this one. When did you find out about the fight?
If I'm not mistaken, it was somewhere mid-March. That's when
Okay.
I got the proposal of this opponent, because before him I had kind of other two opponents, so I kind of got switch opponents back and forward like in the space of 2 weeks until we finally got Piotr that I'm facing now. And yeah, it was all good. I did those first 2-3 weeks of the camp in Portugal, because I was in Portugal. That was my daughter's birthday, so I made sure that their month I spent there. And then all the rest of the camp, the main thing, I've been here, in Ireland.
Before we talk about this fight, I got to talk about a bunch of stuff that's happened since the last time you and I spoke. First things first, you got new management. You're with Paradigm now. Tell me how this all came together, working with one of the best management groups in the game.
I mean, it's pretty simple, because I want to be the best. I want to, be at the top, and you can't do things alone. You know what I mean? And if I want to be the best, I have to work with the best. And it's pretty easy to Paradigm come to my mind, and I reach them out, and they've been taking very good care of me.
That's great to hear, man. And coming off a big win in your last fight, Daniel Weichel, a guy who's fought for the title. How satisfying was that victory? Because I know you had a bit of a few setbacks prior to that, but to take out a guy like Weichel, really nice, I bet.
Yeah, it was exactly how I wanted. Of course, the performance itself, it's another story. But I was delighted, and it was exactly how I wanted, and I visualized, because I needed to come back with a win, of course, and I needed that win very badly, for me personally and for my career.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to kind of do a comeback on my win streak with some guy that no one knows. You know what I mean? I want to go out there, even though it was like kind of a comeback fight. I wanted to prove that I'm one of the best in the world. I don't want to prove just that I'm kind of spending here time. No, I want to prove that those losses were kind of just a not a fluke, but was just a bump in the road. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that I'm here to stay, and and I'm the best. So, and Daniel Weichel is he doesn't need introductions at all. You know what I mean? His name speaks for itself, and his record as well. So yeah, he wanted a fight as well, because we were supposed to fight in April last year. Then
That's right.
because of COVID, he had to pull out, and that's when I kind of got a less replacement with JJ Wilson. And yeah, it just made sense. And yeah, it was kind of everything got together perfectly, because was in Dublin. Was finally I had my first my Dublin debut, because I, even though I'm here for years, I never got the chance, because always was something happened that made me not fighting in Tree Arena. And yeah, it was my debut, the fight itself, the fight that I wanted, the guy that I wanted, and win, and everything was just perfect.
And getting to fight in Paris, you must have been pretty excited about that when you found out that news.
Yeah, it was good. It's good, especially France, because France is the. I hope I'm not saying any mistake, but it's not far from the truth. France is the country where the biggest Portuguese community outside of Portugal resides, is in France. So I'm almost for sure going to be like fighting in home. A lot of Portuguese, I know that a lot of Portuguese are going to be there supporting me. So it's going to be good. It's going to be very good.
Let's talk about your opponent. You mentioned him off the top, a new opponent, I should say, because you had a few that you went through before. He's got 20 fights. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him here?
So, what do I know is a good wrestler, good grappler, a strong individual. He been fighting all his career at lightweight. Is his first time at featherweight. So I can expect, especially on the first round, a strong kind of guy that wants to grab you, put against the fence, maybe throw some swings. But overall, I feel pretty confident about. I feel confident always, but speaking personally about this fight, overall, I think I consider myself a better fighter, striking wise, grappling wise, MMA grappling wise. You know what I mean? And I just go out there and using my big stage experience in my favor, take my time, and I know sooner or later I'll get to finish. And but if not, I go in there to win. I kind of pass already the times where I the giving a show was already always in the back of my head. I kind of, with the lessons that I learned right now, I know like if I can give a great fight, super, but I'm going there to win. And I'm taking this fight super serious. I believe that Piotr is a great fighter, even though he's making his Bellator debut. But I believe he's coming to grab this opportunity with both hands, and I respect that. But like I've said, this is my time. I want to prove that I'm the best. I want to get the belt, and this is just another step in the way.
Training camp, how's that looked heading into this fight? Who have you mainly had a chance to work with as far as bodies in the gym?
Yeah, like training camp has been great. It's always been great. I can say I'm gonna stop say that this was the best. All of them are great, and everything went
Yeah.
perfect, injury free. Nothing happened, which is great. Be healthy, weight on point, and yeah, and training partners. I have the pleasure and be able to say that every day I have some of the best fighters in the world on daily basis.
Mhm.
That mention one is kind of unfair, because every day I have so many good bodies, so many good guys that taking the best out of me every day. So yeah, pretty much the same guys, but a big number of it.
Yeah, and a lot of variety too, which is good. I know fighters that are in big promotions, some that are fighting on the UK scene. So a lot sort of going on there. I got to ask the obvious question though: has Conor McGregor been in the gym at all? When was the last time you saw him?
This time, no, in this camp, I didn't see him yet. I
Mhm.
didn't see him yet, and but I know that he's been training. I know he's been training because he's here in Dublin, and
Mhm.
he's been active. But in this camp in particular, I haven't been with him.
No worries. And who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
My A team, John Kavanagh, David Jones, and Sergey Pikulski.
Love it. And you kind of mentioned it there as far as prediction for this fight, but how do you see this one unfolding? I think this has got fight of the night written all over it.
Yeah, like I'm not like I've said. I when if you asked me that question 2 years ago, I would say 100%. But I like I say, I'm there to win. I'm not there to. Of course, I want to please the fans, but I'm there to win, and I rather prefer to have performance of the night than fight of the night, if you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
100%. Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
that's that's my goal out there. I want to take this chance now that I got my losses on my back already with a great win. I'm already on track, and I don't have that pressure anymore on my shoulders, to go out there not only to win, but I want to perform. I want to go out there and I'll be the name that everyone reminds us on the end of the night. You know what I mean? So I want to go out there and steal the show, put the featherweight division on notice, and be one step closer to get the gold.
Love it, man. There's a lot going on in your division right now. I wanted to start first with the title fight we just had recently. I don't know if you saw it, between AJ McKee, Patricio Pitbull. Pitbull ends up winning the title back. Who did you think won that fight? I don't know if you happened to catch it.
Patricio, I saw Patricio win.
Mhm.
I gave the first, second, and fourth round to Patricio, and third and fifth to AJ McKee. I think for me it was pretty simple to score it.
Mhm.
If Because for me, in the end of the day, was about the first round. Who gave the first round? Because the other four was pretty clear. Um, but if the judges will end up to give the fight to AJ McKee, I wouldn't say that would be unfair because the fight was close. So,
Exactly. Yeah, it was
but
close. It wasn't a robbery, I don't think. I thought it was a very
yeah,
close fight, but yeah, I
it was
mean,
a
I
very close
because
fight.
fans they throw in that word way too
Yeah,
much. You know what I mean? So.
like you can go out there and give a beat and give a
Mhm.
beat to your man.
Mhm.
There always gonna be people saying, "Oh, that wasn't fair." That's always
Mhm.
gonna happen, especially with social media times. That's gonna happen. But I gave it to Patricio. But if it was the other way around, I wouldn't say there will be a robbery.
For sure. One other name I have to bring up in your division, just because I know him pretty well. I'm Canadian, and he actually used to live pretty close to me here. Jeremy Kennedy. I know you guys have been kind of going back and forth. He was supposed to fight Aaron Pico. He ended up getting out of the fight of that. Is that a fight you see happening in the future? You and Jeremy Kennedy?
Yeah, like we've been back and forth because he called me. He called me. I remember. I think I was already had my fight with Patricio, or yeah, I think it was around that time that he called me like several times, and I kind of ignore him, and then I answered him once, and kind of wasted too much time going back and forward. To be honest, I want the fights that are on top of me. I want
Mhm.
the number four, the number three, the number two. Um, but if it comes down to fight him, he's a top 10 fighter. So if it goes down, he goes down. But to be honest, I always look up, and that's what I want. If he was up, if he was ahead of me, 100% that I want to fight him. But right
Mhm.
now, I want the guys that are ahead of me on the ranking so I can surpass him, because all I want is get that belt as soon as possible, and that's it. But if it comes the time to face him, I'll face him, no problem. He's a great fighter, and but like I've said, I think there's better names to go out there and beat. They're me beating gonna make even more noise. And for me, it's all about that. It's all about knowing who the everyone think is the best guys in the division. Go out there and beat them and stealing their hype.
Yeah, it's all about looking ahead. I totally get that. Just last thing on that, do you think that's him or more so, or do you think that's his manager? We know we've heard his managers take over his fighters' Twitter a little bit, and there's a long history with him, and not only just your team but your management group as well. Do you think that played into it a little bit?
I don't know, like everyone wants a piece of SVG. That's the
Mhm.
truth. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter who they are.
Mhm.
Everyone that just make us, the top dogs, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
But I don't know what's the deal. I don't think in this particular case it's that I believe that it's him. But if it was like you're suggesting, like I wouldn't be surprised as well. But I don't think that's the case here.
No, for sure. You stay away from all that. Pedro, we're excited to see you back, man. Bellator 280, May 6th. Can't wait for it. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, like I always like to use this little time. I like to especially thank to everyone that supports me. That they are the main ones. Everyone that's backing me up on the wins and losses and everything. And I want to thank them, and get retrieving with a great performance. That's all I'm looking for, and that's it.